What's up, guys? Welcome to VH Regions. Alright, I am venturing through my comment section today, and I have discovered, I think maybe 2 more videos worth of information just to come out of comments, which I love. I love when comments generate videos. This is good stuff. It allows me to address you guys more directly and give me something fun to talk about that I don't have to really dig into and do a lot of research for. I think we actually, now that I'm sitting here thinking about getting ready to fucking film this, I'm pretty sure that I can smash them down together, make one video, and now I just gotta figure out what I'm gonna call this video. Anyway, so to get into why I'm making this here, the H22 video, I talked about like a 240 something horsepower H22. Alright, then this guy hits me up, bagged and boosted. Check out Matt's E85 H22 powered Honda Prelude. It has, and he said, and all it has, as if this is not a lot. And don't get me wrong, boosted. You know, I'm pretty sure that you can tell from our conversation we had earlier that I'm not fucking talking shit here. Just being clear. I'm reiterating what I said in our conversation to a broader audience because I think that everybody should know this. This is something I want to address. He goes, all it has is Brian Crowder Stage 2 cams, Skunk 2 titanium valve springs and retainers, 3-angle valve job, ported intake manifold, 76mm throttle body, 650cc injectors, and a stock H22 bottom. Now, he also says he has MSD ignition system, blaster, 3 external coil, Honda S300, made 251 wheel horsepower, 211 wheel torque, foot-pounds of torque, and it was, of course, and this is on E85. So 250 horsepower for what is essentially a fully built head, and E85. When you consider cam and pistons 93 making 240. You know, personally, what you guys have heard me say a lot of times on here is power and consistency. And consistency becomes a problem when you have E85 in the mix-up because you can't get E85 in every pump. And also then it becomes a drivability issue. If you're going to run an NA setup, I definitely wouldn't want to do E85 because if it's NA, I definitely want to daily drive this car, even though I love daily driving my turbo cars too. So now, to get a little further in the conversation, you know, I was like, you know, what is it exactly that I say? I said that's a little bit extensive. Now, why I said that's extensive is because you're not really making a big impressive power because the E85 is in there, and if you add up all that, just to go off of spitballing, because I haven't checked in a while, it's been a while since I've checked these prices, but I'm pretty sure that my guesses are close here. Brian Crowder Stage 2 cams, around about $300. The valves, your entire valve train replacement, probably also around $300. And a port job on the head. I don't know how much labor goes for that. I guess it varies based on who you take it to. But we'll not even factor that one in yet. We'll just kind of glaze over that one. 76mm throttle body. I think it's also maybe like $150 around about that. Ported intake manifold, so that's more port work. We'll put that with the head itself. So you're looking at $750 between throttle body, valve train, cams, 650cc injectors. Depending on what brand injectors, it could be another $200. We'll just say $200, $789, so we're $950. I'm not even going to include the MSD because that's whatever. And I'm not going to include the Honda either because that's also not a big deal. So we're looking at just shy of $1,000 for just the parts. And that's not including the labor of the port work for the head and the intake manifold. And I think that it's safe to say between the two, you're looking at another $300 to $400. So you're looking at over $1,000 in just head work alone to make this 250. That's a lot of money. Now, and I pointed out, I said that's a little bit much for me. And the guy, he goes to say, like, well, for beginner enthusiasts who can't afford to build can't afford to properly build a block, this is the way to go. Well, personally, I don't really see that. I don't see the logic there so much, just because of the fact that if you're not building that block, then you're probably not building your head too, because to do that kind of extensive work on that head, the head has to come off the block. And even I wouldn't, try my hand at that good of a port job, maybe something mild, but the kind of port job you're going to need to really to make any use there, it's expensive. So you're going to spend over $1,000 some on a head and use the 85 to kind of like struggle to make what you could have made if you would just mod the block. Now, first off, I like to say, when he's like, well, for everyday guys. Well, this channel is for the everyday guy. This channel is for those of you who want to be able to build your own engine. And I'm fairly certain at this point that I have enough shit on here to make even the most common guy with common sense be able to successfully build an engine, or at least give him a good starting point to realize it's not that bad, and then go do his own research to do an engine build. Because you don't have to build the exact same way I can do. Well, I do my shit. You can get a little bit more technical than what I do. But regardless, I'm still showing that it's not that difficult a thing to do, as long as you have a little bit of common sense about yourself and pay attention to detail. So let's just name off the block mod you need to get to this where you're making the kind of same power that this head work is doing. $100. Talking about the H22 here, or just in general, you're looking at an OEM piston swap. If you buy them brand new, you're looking at $100 you're spending. And to be fair, we'll say gaskets and all that shit too, another $200 or $300. Not even. That's ridiculous. A head gasket's $50, and oil pan gasket, you can get the kit for the gasket kit for like another $50. So you're looking at really more spending time than so much money. And with just the gaskets and the pistons, you're looking at a couple $100. And then with with a lot of OEM cam upgrades out there, you could just spend another $100 on a stock upgrade and make similar power to that. That's what this guy did with the G23. He fucking Type S cams, bolt-ons, Type S, or RS6 Type S pistons, 240 or 253 wheel horsepower. So, and that's on pump. So, if you want to make good power for cheap, you always start with the block. And to be honest, to really gain the full benefits of a high-flowing and aggressive cam, high-flowing head with an aggressive cam, is to raise compression. Now, you will get more flow with a ported head and with a more aggressive cam, but it's to that point, to a certain point, because if you don't have a higher volume of air flowing from the block, then you're not going to really push those cams. It's really you're not going to get the most power out of it. The thing is when you have that higher compression, you can use that more aggressive lobes on those cams to open up longer and push without getting detonation, which is a real big killer of engines. And if you have too low compression with too aggressive a cam, you're going to be sloppy and choppy on the low end side and not make good power in the low range, and your power band is going to be kind of ugly. So there's different stage cams based off of what kind of setup you have with your block. So you can get like a stage 1 upgrade, a basic upgrade if you have a stock block. Although I think it's safe to say that you can go to a stage 2. Well, no, not even really. I guess if you haven't modified your block at all, if you have even like with the shit I love doing, the Frankenstein OEM piston swap, if you haven't even done something like that to bump up compression, then you really don't even need a stage 2 cam at a stage 1. And if you're buying a stage 1, I really think that's a waste of money. If you have a stock block, you're buying stage 1 cams, then you could buy an OEM cam and generally get about an OEM cam upgrade from what you have, and generally make about the same power. I've said this a whole bunch of times about GSR cams, which is why I haven't, I never buy aftermarket cams for B series, because GSR Type R are really good. Type R are really expensive, and they're not that much better than the GSRs, which is why I always go back to GSRs, because you can buy GSR cams all day between $50 and $100. So you can't really go wrong on that. And a lot of companies out here that are making aftermarket cams for these Honda engines, a lot of time are taking the best Honda cam and then mass producing that. So a lot of times you'll buy like a stage 1 cam and you're pretty much getting a Type S, but for hundreds of dollars more. So you really need to do a little bit more cam research, see what cam works for your compression. But anyway, I think that it's a serious, a serious waste of money to start off with doing head work alone if you're not going to get into that block and do something to raise your compression up a little bit. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about cams a little bit, and I definitely wanted to talk about why you start at the block. The block isn't going to cost you as much work as the head the head shit's going to be, and you can still make good power from a block mod versus head. Like at the end of the day, you're looking at how much power you're making here, and you're looking at how much power you're making over here, and you're realizing like with that extra compression and good tune, you would have made the same as you made or as you would with that just the head alone. Now imagine when you do them both together and you really truly maximize your potential, you'll make more than what you could have done off just block alone, obviously, and you'll make it a lot easier than if you just tried to go with the head. Oh, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I do remember now what the other video conversation was going to be. It's not between cam and block. That's one thing in itself. The other one, I'm also going to see if I can stay awake long enough to do. And I'm going to shoot that one now. All right, guys. If you got any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments below or my social media description. Or my social media shit is all in the description below. Feel free to hit me up through social media. If you're interested in having a personal connection, instead of just following a page or whatnot, you can hit me up on Snapchat. I follow everybody back there. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and peace.